trying to get an early start today. There's a lot of things on my to-do list. The first of which is to take care of these peppers that Matt and I harvested. Aren't they beautiful? All those colors, so pretty. I'm going to make some fermented pickles with them. You might have seen that in one of my videos in the past years, but I'll show you how to do it today and tell you where I found the recipe. So I want to do that. I've got some tomato juice hanging out in the refrigerator that I've got to can today. I've already done the first step of it and then didn't have time to actually put it in the jar, so it's in the refrigerator. You can probably see behind me I have a real mess of a kitchen, so I need to definitely clean up before I even do anything, before I even start. Just me waving my hands around, I can smell that wonderful pepper smell. First I'm going to fix me something to eat though. I've not had breakfast yet. I've had my cup of postum, but that's all. So I've been on a kick of eating or drinking a shake that I make for breakfast. If you watch my videos, you'll know for many years, literally years, I ate an apple and cottage cheese, and then I got over that, and then I drank chicken stock, couldn't think of what, drank some stock and ate an apple and ate some cheese. And then I was on an oatmeal kick. I loved the oatmeal, but it got to a point the oatmeal didn't like me anymore. It was just making me feel bad. I tried the soaking it overnight. Of course, I was buying good oatmeal, all that. I had to give the oatmeal up. So I've been went back to a shake. There was a time in my life when I was having some, not really health issues, but just not feeling good. And Corey and Katie got me to try to give up some things. This has been years ago, before I was doing YouTube. And I did feel better. I guess it was almost like a cleanse or a resetting of my body. And then I started feeling better. But in those days, one thing that I did was I made a shake and I would drink it. So I've got some protein. I like chocolate. It comes in all flavors. This is a brand, Garden of Life. There's all kinds of brands out there you could check into. I've got some vanilla yogurt. I like vanilla. And then I've got some milk, of course. And sometimes I put blueberries in it. I've done that a lot, and that's good. Or you could use any other kind of fruit you want to. Lately, I've been I had some of this in the cabinet just because I was going to make something out of it. This is coconut whipping cream. And when I first got back on this kick of drinking the shake each morning, I thought, I wonder if I could put something like that in it, and that might help me get resituated, as if you will, just to get to feeling better. And so I tried it. It's so good. I bought it to use in something, but then I never even opened it. I could eat it out of the can. It's like candy. So I used it, and then I run out. So then I had some other coconut milk just unsweetened coconut milk in the cabinet in the pantry, and so I've been using it, but that's all gone. But yesterday the girls went and did their Azure pickup, and so I got some more of this. So there's really no rhyme or reason. If you want to try this, you just mix it up till it tastes good, I guess, if you will. So I usually put most of it is yogurt. And if you can't do dairy, maybe you could find one of the ones that are dairy free. I'm not sure what those are, but you know, little Ira can't do dairy and he drinks goat milk. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a scoop of my protein powder in it. You can buy a shake, like a mix that you just use to do that. There's all different varieties, and if you make smoothies, shakes, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you do. I do think it's especially good with fruit, and so I put blueberries in it often, but I'm not going to today. So this is smells amazing, wonderful. So I'm going to put a scoop or so of this. It's really thick and fat, soothing though for me, I think, for my stomach. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of milk, just a splash or so. And you could make it as thick or as thin as you wanted, so you could leave that out if you wanted to. And then I've got an immersion blender. We've had it for ages and ages, and it's a good one. I don't even know what brand it is. Let's see if I can see what brand it is. I think the girls bought it, or maybe someone gave it to us. It's just a Hamilton Beach, so not a very expensive one at all. You could use whatever kind of blender that you have, but these work especially well for things like this because you can just stick it down in the cup. Miss Cindy was really big on drinking things. She would often put like kale or spinach or something like that. Katie does that. She dries spinach and then puts it in there. And Miss Cindy would use a Vitamix. We have her Vitamix now after she passed away. That was one of the things I got from her house, of course. They're very expensive, but she'd had hers for years, and I think that maybe she even found it like at a yard sale or thrift store or something. So it's one of the old ones, but it works good. So I'm going to mix up my breakfast. I'm going to straighten up as I drink it, I'm going to wash the dishes and straighten up and try to find all my supplies for the peppers, and then I'll show you how to do that. I'm making headway. I've got it all cleaned up behind me. It always makes me feel good to put everything where it should be and clean off the counters, wipe them down, clean the windows so I can see when I'm washing the dishes. So I've got that done. I've still got some other things I need to do to get ready. Before I do that though, I'm going to start my brine. I'll go over this with you in detail, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. So I've got some water and I'm putting 1 teaspoon per 1 cup in. So I've got a few more. 1 teaspoon of salt, I should have said. I'd already put some of it, and then I thought I should show what I'm doing. So I've got, you might have to make some up as you go, depending on how many peppers you have, or you may know exactly. I'm not like that. So I've got 12 cups, and I put 12 teaspoons of salt. And I'm going to put it on the stove and bring it to a boil, and then it can be cooling down while I continue to get my jars ready. And I've got to process the peppers, and I got to go find some garlic. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be back. I think I'm ready to start finally putting the peppers in the jars. I know I don't have enough jars, but I'm going to get started just so I can show you how to do it. Now I found this recipe on Lady Lee's Home. That's a website. I will put that link in the description below. You should jump over there and read everything she says about how to do it, all the tips and tricks, all the variations, because I didn't change anything really, but I might have left something out. You never know. So after I wrote it down, this is just what I do. But you need to go over there and get all the tips and tricks. So it's fermented vinegar peppers, pickled peppers. So it's kind of a combination. It's using fermentation and vinegar, so there's both of those there. Now in the mountains of Appalachia, you will often hear, even me and Matt, we might say, boy, Papa Tony makes the best pickled beans and corn. They're not really pickled, they're fermented, but you hear that interchangeably. If something's fermented, we say it's pickled. So you have to be careful about that in the mountains of Appalachia. Make sure you know what you're talking about, or know what the person's talking about. Now some people do put, one time Clay Logan showed me how to make his pickled corn, and I think if I remember right, he put a little bit of vinegar in it. So some people do that, kind of like how these pickles today that we're going to make are. So first you're going to need your peppers, which we're using. Let me show you some of our peppers that we grow. So these are, isn't that beautiful little, and they're so tasty. These are habanadas, but they're sweet. They're not hot, they're sweet. These are all sweet ones. This is a shishito. We grow those. We really like them. That's most of what we grow. Down in there somewhere, there's some Marconis that are, I think they were the yellow ones, but they're not yellow. Maybe, yeah, there you go. There's one. I went ahead and just got it since I knew I was doing this. So there's those. And that's really, the majority of these are only those 2 peppers. We really love both of them, and they're very prolific. Now I did pick, I've got over on the table, some of the hot ones that we grew this year. We grew some cayennes, some jalapenos, and also one that's called Marchant or Merchant. I don't know how you say it, but a subscriber sent us the seed because they thought Matt would like it, and he does. It's very hot though, so I'm going to keep those separated, but I'll probably make a jar or so for Matt and Austin because they'll like them. They also really love these. Now the other ingredients, if you jump over to the website, she talks about how you could add different things if you want to, or you could do it very simply, which is what I'm doing today. So I've got some of mine and Matt's garlic that we grew this year. Our garlic didn't do no good this year at all. I think it was all the extra rain. Anyway, maybe I tried different varieties and they just didn't do as good as what we usually grow, so that may have been it too. So I've got that. I've got some vinegar right here. That's the vinegar part. And I've got over here, I've got that brine that we made with just the salt and the water. And then I've got my jars and stuff. So that's all I'm going to use. Now I'm going to read you what I wrote down, but again, you should jump over there. So we're got our clean jars here. I sterilized them, and we're going to use our small or larger peppers, but mine's going to be mostly on the small side. Look at that little bitty one, ain't that sweet? They're going to be so pretty, those colors are. We're going to leave about 2 inches of headspace. Add seasonings, 1 clove of garlic. I'm going to use some garlic. Add brine, 1/2 to 1 cup of vinegar if you're going to use a 1/2 gallon jar. Like I could use one of my big jars like this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use the quarts. So for a quart jar, you use 1/4 to 1/2 cup vinegar. And she says on the side, that's kind of up to you. Do you like that real vinegar taste or do you not like it? So that's up to you. And I put the full amount because we like that. So I think I've done it both ways, but this year I'm going to do it a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to use a 1/2 cup for a quart jar. And then we've boiled our water. We've got the water and the salt over there. So once we add our peppers in here, we're just going to stuff them in there, leaving that headspace. We're going to pour the vinegar in there, and then we're just going to fill it the rest of the way. We're going to put some garlic too, but we're going to fill it the rest of the way with that brine, and then put the lid on it. And once the lid is on it, she says to begin with, you're just going to set them on your counter. You can leave it kind of loose. Now, or what she said was first tighten it real tight and shake it up a little bit, and then untighten it and leave it loose. We're going to let ferment for about a week. After the next few days, the peppers start to change color and brine will get foggy with bubbles. After a week or two, the brine will become clearer. The peppers are now ready and can be stored in the refrigerator or a cool place. And you can read more about her suggestion on that. Like she had talked about like a cold pantry, cold place where she could keep stuff like potatoes and onions and things like that. I don't really have a place like that, so I just store mine in the basement on my shelves. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, well, don't you water bath it? Well, this is not a recipe that you do water bath, but if you wanted to water bath them, I say if it makes you feel better, go ahead and water bath them. And I think she talks about that. If not in the recipe, maybe in the comments, you can jump over there and see. Or it's such a simple recipe, you could make just 1 or 2 jars. That way too, you can see if you like it or not, but 1 or 2 jars and let it go through that process, and then just store them in the refrigerator till you eat them and they're gone. And that's an easy way to do it if you're worried about the safety of not water bathing. Sorry, I had a little interruption with Corey calling. Her and Katie are out running errands and they were getting things for Granny, and I was afraid that's what it was. They wanted to know exactly what she wanted. They're at the grocery store. So anyway, that's an easy way to handle if you're worried about the water bathing thing. So there is a step that I need to do. Well, first let me go back to thinking about this. Now she talks about them being clear. Now when you go read her website, she says they don't just get clear as a bell, they just improve. So I really didn't notice much of a change in mine. Maybe that's my house, maybe that's depending on my amount of vinegar I use compared to like the natural fermentation that would happen here in my house. I didn't really notice them clearing like that. After that 2 weeks, I just opened one and tasted it and thought, man, that is good, and decided that they were finished, So that might be something you have to play around with. Again, good to do if you just want to do 1 jar or 2 jars because it's so simple, and then just keep it in the fridge. So there is I need to do one more step before I can actually start putting them in. So I've got my garlic ready, but on the peppers, she suggested, let me get my little bowl over here, says you don't have to take the stem completely off, but it's so easy to break those off. Is what I'm going to do. And then on the bottom, you could just snip a little bit off, which I did on that one. We'll just go ahead and put that one in there. Or you can do an X. She said, like, do an X, which is real easy too. See, this one's not going to come off as much, so I'm going to just cut it. Could get a pair of scissors, that might be easier. And as far as leaving the stem, it kind of gives you a, a little something to hold on to when you eat it. But cutting the little slit like that allows all that stuff to get up inside, which is really tasty. I better not do that. I'm going to have to lay it down probably to stuff them in. Let me do a few. Could just use it to do both and snip off the bottom. I think I like doing the little X though. I did go ahead and wash my, ain't that little one so sweet? Go ahead and wash my peppers yesterday when I brought them in, so that part, and let them dry overnight, which I don't think the drying part would matter a bit, but that part has already been done. These are such pretty colors. Matt said when we were picking them, harvesting them, he said that looks like a bucket full of Halloween, or a basket full of Halloween. I said it does, you're right. Matt is not in a good mood today. I'll tell you why. It's because late yesterday evening our air conditioner tore up, so we have no air. Thankfully, we have that wonderful cool air outside that's been, a lot of you have been enjoying, and we have been too. So last night we opened all the windows in the house and I slept good. I in fact even got a little chilly, so it was fine. But Matt's friend Daniel's coming over this evening and he's going to check it out. Matt has worked on it, as long as we've had it. He knows how to do stuff like that. But I think, and he thinks, I don't know, but he thinks that it's run its course. The life of it is over. So we've had it for, oh, I don't know, 20 years or something like that. So it is, I guess, I don't know, getting old. Matt wanted to, and if you can't really cut an X, like this one's kind of soft, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. Just do the best you can. But Matt didn't ever want to redo it or get a new one because he says those old ones are so much better. But, at the same time, the life of it, the expectancy of it is over, long since gone, so we don't really want to put a bunch of money in it and then it really go kaput. But anyway, I'm very thankful that it happened while we're having this wonderful cool weather and not during the heat of summer. So that's been nice. Of course, today here I am heating up the kitchen with all this stuff. Maybe it'll be okay. I don't think I washed that one very good. There's a little bit of a spider web. It reminds me of all those old wives' tales about spiders and things you hear in the mountains of Appalachia. But specifically, and I think this one, I've never tried it, but I don't doubt that it would probably work, is to use a spider web to stop bleeding. If you think about it, it is kind of like cotton. Now, there's also ones though, you could take a spider web if you have a toothache, like a rotted out tooth or a cavity in your tooth. You could take that spider web and squish it up and put it in there and it would help it. I don't know if I'd try that one, but who knows, maybe that would work too. Okay, let's see. Let's make a jar so you can see how they're going to turn out. One other thing that I didn't mention, I don't think, is that she said you needed to keep the, maybe I did read that, keep the peppers below the brine. Well, a good way to do that is to have weights. Now, the very first time I ever made this, I didn't have any weights, I don't think. And then some of you sent me weights, and then I bought some too. So they're just little heavy pieces of glass. You can see this is one for the small mouth jars, and then this is one for the large mouth jars. And you could use other things though. You could just, put them in there so tightly they stay below it. I've seen people use like grape leaves and things to kind of press them down. You could probably, if you had some kind of little piece of something, a lid or something around your house, you could probably use that. So lots of different ways. So now let's see if we can, ooh, pepper juice is coming out of that one, or maybe it was out of my jar. Let's see if we can stuff them down in there. And so much for putting them straight. I was trying to put them straight, but we're just going to have to go with what it is. And more than you think, especially because mine are kind of on the small side, these varieties that we like to grow, will fit down in there. The largemouth jars are definitely easier to put peppers in, to get them to stay down in there, because your hand can reach down in there further. And you can use a spoon or something, or two. Any of your little canning tools might help. One of these. Stuff it down in there. I gotta put my little bitty one down in there. Okay, I think maybe I'm gonna stop right there. So you can see you can get more than you think. So pretty. So I'm going to put some garlic. She said just 1 clove of garlic. I usually put more than that. I like the garlic as much as the peppers. I look for the garlic and eat them. So I'll put 2. Let's see. I went searching for my half a cup measuring cup and I couldn't find it. And I looked in the drawer. I thought, well, I've done washed the dishes. Where could it be? And I looked and looked, went to the drawer about 3 times. And then I remembered, I should have remembered sooner. Anytime I lose one, usually it's stuck in something, like the flour, the cornmeal, the whatever, and this was in the flour, so that's exactly where it was at. So here's my, wonder if I should get my cannon funnel. Make it easier on me. So there's my half a cup of vinegar. And here's the brine. And I may put too much brine because I forget about putting the weight. No, I'm going to be okay. That's good. And here's just one of the lids. I might ought to wipe that off a little. I'm not even going to worry about shaking it up. Isn't that beautiful though? Isn't that so pretty? Especially, you can see all the colors there. See the garlic. Very, very pretty. So, one down, several to go. Let's see, let me put my, I'll be getting confused on which is which. I'll put that one back over there. Put that there. And do some more peppers. This is the kind of work though that I don't mind. Kind of monotonous, but you can just let your mind wander. I like thinking about all the, that one's got a little bad place. If there's a bad place, I just cut it out and still use it. But thinking about, you know, how these will please my family, whether we have them with, you know, hot dogs, hamburgers as a side, or even just, you know, straight out of the jar just because you want one, with soup, beans, and cornbread and taters, with chicken, with whatever we have it for, whatever we're having supper for. They also make, because they're so pretty, a really nice gift if you wanted to give them for Christmas. Maybe I'll save a jar and make sure I give Papa Tony one. He probably would like one of those that I'm going to make with the hot peppers. Probably like a jar of those. Let's put this green one in one of them. So last year our peppers didn't do very good, so I didn't get to make any. So this will be a nice addition to our winter eating. It's amazing how this one's got a bad place too. I'm just going to cut that whole thing off, make sure there's no little buggies in there. Amazing how a pickle, something like this, that canned coleslaw that I make that's so good, pickled beets, whatever it is, bread and butter pickles, any of those things, how they just add a brightness to whatever you're eating. Really nice. This will be one of the last things that I put up this year. My putting up is winding down for sure. Even right here, if I'm very quiet, I can hear the crickets outside the door along this back, about through there. this time of the year they get louder and louder until then they're gone when true cold weather gets here. But this is like one of the signs of fall that I look forward to hearing, is those crickets. Let's try one of the, run out of room on myself. Let's try one of the ones you can actually reach your hands down in. So pretty. Forgot my garlic in the bottom. Maybe I'll poke one down in there. I'll probably keep doing that, so I'm going to go put some garlic in my jars just to make it easier. I'll put a few more in this one too. Okay, now for our vinegar. See if our weight will fit in that one. Got it a little full, I think. Oh yeah, that's better. I forgot and tightened that first one really tight, so I untightened it. Okay, I got some garlic in the bottom of this one now. I don't need that. Shaking them kind of helps them get down in there too. Especially in the smallmouth ones. A little bit more garlic on the top. Like I said, I like it as much as the peppers. Need a little bit more. And another weight. Hey.
Looks like they may be out of Red Delicious. No, here's Red Delicious. Ha.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. That's all right. Bye.
Bye.
Granny likes Red Delicious, and she said they were on sale at Ingles. So. Just never gets old looking at how pretty those are. Aren't they just beautiful? Just so pretty. They look so pretty sitting on my counter too. Alright, I'm going to have to cut up more peppers, so aren't I? These sweet habanadas like this have a very mild taste. They almost taste, there is a taste of pepper, but almost fruity. There's a fruit taste too. I ended up with 10 jars of the sweet peppers. Had 2 peppers left over. Now I'm going to put my gloves on because I'm going to work on Matt's hot peppers, which there's not many, so it won't take long. A few cayennes and a few jalapenos, and then those marchant that were very hot. Matt made the mistake of working with them and not wearing gloves. I thought about telling him, but I figured he wouldn't listen to me, and he probably wouldn't have. But he won't do that again. His hands throbbed for, I don't know, the rest of that day and into the next day, I think. I said some of these are cayennes, but this right here, that's not a cayenne, that's a shishito. We must have got mixed up when we were separating them. So I still have to can my tomato juice, which the hard part of it's done. I just need to get it out of the refrigerator and bring it to a boil and put it in the jars. And then Matt says he's hungry. I said, well, if you can wait till I get to a stopping point, I'll make you some tater cakes. We had a delicious supper last night. We had, you see the water come out of that one? There's a hole in it on the side. We had fried chicken and mashed potatoes. We had green beans from the garden. And we had a can of our canned coleslaw, and we had biscuits, and it was really good. Even if I did cook it myself, it was really good supper. But I had some mashed potatoes left over. Potatoes were from our garden too. So I told Matt I'd make him some tater cakes if he's not come unfed to the point that he can't wait just a little bit. I had a bad place. I run out of jars too, so I had to go downstairs and get some, and then I had to send Matt for some more because I'll need them for my tomato juice. This time of the year I'm ready for my counters to be free of jars. I have jars all summer long because I know, you know, even if I got too many for what I was doing that day, I'll be using them again in a day or two. So they just kind of always hang out. Okay, let me get me some jars. Just enough garlic left, I think. I don't know if this will do 1 jar or 2 jars. I'll have to keep them separate, which I could probably tell from the jalapenos and the shape of those, but we want somebody to eat them thinking they were mild if they're really, really hot. Close, but I don't think they're all going to fit in 1 jar. I do have a pint jar though. Let's see how they'll fit in there. And between the two, I can get them all. Okay, that's it. Okay, see if I can get the vinegar. Might as well put the rest of the garlic. I didn't put any garlic in that one, did I? Well, let's hack this one. I'm just going to put the whole, even though it's a smaller jar, I'm going to put the whole half of the cup. Okay. Need my brine. There's something on that one. A little piece of grass or something. I must not have done a good job washing them, huh? Okay. I'll set these in a different place so I'll remember to write on them. I could probably just tell by looking, but pretty, just so pretty and so simple. Okay, I'm going to clean up my pepper mess, get those potatoes out, and I'll show you real quick how to whip up some good tater cakes. I got all my pepper stuff cleaned up. Now I'm ready to make Matt some tater cakes. If you've never had a tater cake or potato cake before, you just use your leftover mashed potatoes to make them. It's kind of like using them, turning your leftovers into another meal. When I was growing up, Granny made the best ones. She still does. They're so good. Hers just have something extra special in them. And a couple of years ago, I guess it's been a couple of years now, I got Granny to show us how to make them in a video. I will link to that so you can go watch Granny and see how she does it. That day I learned something, and since then mine have been better. I don't know if they're as good as Granny's, but they're better. I wasn't using enough flour, and I was having a hard time when I put them in the pan with trying to get them to turn over, but she showed a trick about that too. I was trying to mash mine out first, and I didn't have much flour, and then they were just sticking to me. It was just a mess, but Granny cleared all that up for me, so I'll show you how Granny does it. But it's really easy. I've got my mashed potatoes in here. It's about 1.5 cups. This is a cup of flour. I've got an egg right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my egg in there. And then I've got onion. You could just put it to taste. I like a lot of onion. I'm like Granny. I think she says in that video that's what makes it really good. So I've got a whole onion. You might not want that much. You might want more than that. I don't know. And now you could add any kind of seasonings you want to. Some people add some green pepper, some chives, something like that, some garlic, and whatever you want will be great, will be fine. Another thing people often ask me on that video, or anytime I talk about, I'm just going to put everything in there and start mixing it up. Anytime I talk about it is, well, what if you're, does it matter what you mashed your potatoes, what seasoning you use there? It doesn't matter at all. So these are potatoes that we had last night, and for my mashed potatoes, I'm pretty simple. I better watch what I'm doing. I'm going to spill it all out on the floor. I use salt and pepper and butter when I'm boiling my potatoes. Then I use warm milk and butter and more salt and more pepper when I actually mash them. And I'm somebody that likes my potatoes on the thin side. Like, I like them creamy, more creamy than, stiff, I guess. So now once we get this mixed up, about got it, I've got some oil heating in a frying pan over there. And we'll just go over there and start frying them. And the great thing about tater cakes is, you could just make a little bitty, you can make a lot, depending on your leftovers, of course. But if you didn't want to make this many, we'll all eat these. We'll eat them through the day, and then they'll be gone. Whoever comes through the kitchen, Matt will get his for his dinner, and then whoever comes through and wants one can have one. Okay, I think I've about got it all mixed up there, so let's go to the stove. So I've got my pan pretty hot. If you think about it, most everything is already cooked. This was one of the tips. Granny just pushes them off in a big wad like that. She don't try to pat them out like I was doing. Put one more in there. And as big or as small as you like them too will be fine. I may not have put enough oil. Let's hope I did. Grab the pan. Well, maybe I did. So we'll let them cook for just a minute, and then I'll show you Granny's trick, the other trick, other than just putting them in little mounds. Okay, now when you're ready to flip them over, you can oil your spatula a little bit, and then you can turn them over. Or you can do it this way. You can just turn them over, then mash them down. There you go. That's the easiest way to do it, but either way works. Granny just flips hers over and then mashes them down. I was like, that's revolutionary. Why didn't I never think of that? There. And then since like I said, the potatoes are really done. I got my pan a little full. You'll do better than that. It's just a matter of browning them on each side. So we'll let them cook a little bit more there. So they're getting browner now. And when you flip them back again, then that little edge that you mashed down, then it'll get brown. So it's kind of a process of just doing it, but it is easier than trying to do them by hand like I used to do. Okay, about got them done. I'll add me a little bit more oil and do the rest of them. Matt's going to have his with beanie weenies. He's been wanting beanie weenies. I'm just going to eat mine like it is. They're hot though, I will warn you. I love mashed potatoes, but I'm not sure that I don't like tater cakes better.
They're awful good, ain't they?
And it's the creaminess of the potato, and then the onions don't get completely cooked, so there's the crunch of that. It just really goes good together somehow.
Mighty good. You did good on them.
Well, I finally learned how to do it right from Granny. They're so good. So good. How's your beanie weenies?
Good, you know something?
I like them okay. I just don't want any. Let me turn my thing over here. The last two I'm making are the prettiest ones. That's how it always goes. It's because I crowded the pan trying to rush it along, trying to hurry. I've still got to can my tomato juice, and then I'll be done. I can't believe how much warmer it is in our house, though. But I already had all this stuff I had to do today. Or I could have, I don't know, I couldn't have put those peppers off for long because they're better if you can get them in the jar right after you picked them, you know. So.
We'll just have to sweat it out.
Yeah. It's like the old days. Me and Matt didn't have air until the girls were about 6 or 7, something like that. So, but we've got soft. Luckily though, wonderfully, what a blessing that it could have tore up back in July. And it's tore up right when we have this little cool spell of weather. So, and hopefully Matt's friend Daniel can either fix it or get us another one, just a unit ordered. It'd be easy to, well, not easy, it'll be work, but much easier to like just change out our unit than it would be like with Corey and Austin's. That house had never had heating and air, so all the duct work had to be run. Ours is all that's fine, it's right there. So it's just the unit.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to change it out because this thing...
How old is it? I was trying to remember.
23 years.
23 years, and that's past the life expectancy of it.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to put any money in it. We're just going to change it out. I've been putting it off because I don't want to get the newer stuff because of all the circuit boards and this little dinky stuff that'll go wrong in them. But while it is running, it will be more efficient and it'll be quieter and it'll heat better and it'll cool better. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I could spend several $100s or more on this to get it back running, and it may quit next week.
Right, yeah, that's true, yeah. And we don't use it a whole lot for heat, but it's nice to have it there when you need it. We mostly use the wood stove, but it's nice, you know, if you know, something, if you're all sick or something with the flu, or just on a morning that you don't really want to, it's going to warm up and you don't really want to build a fire, but you just want a little warmth. So, yeah. It's nice to have, and it'd be nice, like Matt said, if it's more efficient, that should be good.
Right.
Maybe our power bill will come down. I doubt it, but maybe.
Well, it'll be quieter for sure.
It'll be quieter. Yeah, that one's pretty loud when it runs. Yeah. You can hear it. Well, I sure do hope you've enjoyed spending time with me today in the kitchen while I did my pepper. I still got to do my tomatoes, but that'll be pretty quick. I've got my tomato juice over there on the stove, and even made Matt some tater cakes.
Thank you, dear. I'm about to get another one.
There you go.
And shuffle off to somewhere else and sit down.
Okay, that'd be fine.
That'd be all right.
That'd be all right. We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia.